Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Live broadcast of the Kora Warrior Race. We are out on Sand Sequoias for one lap today. This is a new racing series that we are in partnership with Koa Sports. They are an awesome coaching company out of Australia. And a little bit of background on Koa for everybody. If you're if you're wondering what is going on here, what is happening with ZCL, it's absolutely awesome to have them on board. New productions company that they are doing for esports. They've been running some of their own broadcasts on their Koa Sports outlets, and now in partnership, we're looking to reach all of the Zwift community. Koa Sports is bespoke coaching and esports service spanning 35 countries worldwide. Actually, their coaches are full-time professionals with national accreditation and years of experience. Koa Sports is for the endurance to this competitive beast while the dreamer there said. And you can join the tribe over at koasports.com.au. Greg McDermott and Tim Ballantyne, they are going to be doing the play-by-plays for us. Tim Ballantyne, he's a coach, 2 times Kona, as well as 5 times 70.3 champion. And Craig McDermott, he's a coach as far as a 5-time Ironman and has done the ride around Oz. So with no more ado, let's go ahead and head right on over to our commentators today, Tim and Greg, and I'll see you guys after the program.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Koa Sports race on a Thursday evening in the US and a Friday morning in the Southern Hemisphere. So just 6 seconds away from the jump, we're just going to go straight to the action this morning and looking for a huge race.
Let's hit the stinger.
Per kilo by Sproul.
Jason's coming back. Chris is coming back over the top. Just going to follow the right rider here.
Here we are, Greg. We are back, mate. We are back. It's great, and thanks, Nathan, again for the very healthy introduction.
Always good.
Always a nice little head wobble for us.
It's always nice. So we're already with the action, Tim, and following the front of the group, and plenty of regular riders joining us, as they always do on Thursday night in the US and in the Northern Hemisphere. A huge peloton of riders again, and I'm going to see some huge blobs going around as we race on the Sand and Sequoia course.
Sequoia, you got that right. So 22 odd kilometres.
22.3 to be precise.
22.3, a few hundred metres of climbing. You know, that's how we roll in Australia. We just keep it a little bit loose.
Keep it broad.
And then we've got over just a touch over 100 people in the start tonight. So that's already starting to splinter out a little bit, but a very, very large front pack here, which we typically expect and see here on this circuit for the first, 10Ks as they roll around here on the sands part. Hard to break away. That said, Greg,
somebody had a little crack. I watched the race last night live while I was having a nice cold beer down at the pub and watched it live on my phone, and there was a man by the name of T. Ballantyne having a little crack off the front.
It's not about me, Greg. It's not about me. It's not about me, but it did backfire, as always.
So as we always talk about in Zwift racing, the peloton, the blob or the pack, is a lot healthier in strength than a single man off the front. So I think you at one stage established yourself at a 10-second advantage to the group, but they all came back screaming past you really quickly. But I think you did manage to hang in there for about 5th place overall.
Thereabouts. I think last time, about 3 weeks ago, because of course we do rotate through 3 courses just on a week by week, just to mix it up. Can get you want to try and change things up and sort of advantage different people's strengths as well. So with the Titans Grove, of course, in this race, it does put a little bit of pressure there on some of the sprinters. If they can sort of hang tough, then it obviously plays into their hands. So maybe we'll go through some of that strategy in a second. But some familiar names in there. Obviously, welcome back to Alex Side, who's a great supporter and sharer. I believe Sproul's in there. Got Johnson Holmes. Glassenap, I think, is in there. Corrigan. So some big names again. Apologies if we missed, but I'm not going to go through 40 names.
Berger, Clark, I saw him there. Martin always getting a good shout out on social media with his fans. Got a bit of a fans following Martin along.
Sproul a bit off the back there, so either just sort of, don't know what Sproul's doing there, but in a little bit of no man's land. So 180 beats per minute, maybe missed the jump or something. So he's got to try and get back on onto that thing, or maybe he's having some technical
I
issues.
think
You can
there's
see
something
he's
going on there with Sproul this morning. He's definitely an athlete that pushes more than 1 watt a kilo as he rolls along. We're following Coles now as well. Just a couple of these riders need to work really hard to get back onto that front group, because once they go up the road on this course, Tim, there is no bringing the group back. So shout out to everyone watching on live on Facebook, both
YouTube,
on the Coles Sports page and on the ZCL page. Please send through any questions you may have. Any comments or feedback, as long as they're positive, we're happy to hear them. It's and we've
constructive.
got a healthy crowd of people watching this morning. I think I would say this, Tim. Friday morning in the southern area on the planet, and certainly a lot of people already clocking off from work, maybe with a little hangover from a Christmas party last night.
And it's good to see Ciano in there, a big name in Zwift esports. I think he was second at the finals in 2017. So Ciano, look for Ciano. Welcome, and welcome to the race. That's good to see some big names in there, and we'll see what unfolds over the next half an hour or so, 20, 25 minutes. So
yeah. So what was the overall time? Definitely this course under 30 minutes. We've done it 4 or 5 times now. So expecting this group to really roll through. So.
And, of course, typically this race tends to be a little bit faster than our Thursday night. We're talking Australian time, so confusing for those when it's Thursday night back in the US. But typically a little bit faster. They just get that bit bigger front pack. And I was just going to say, last time we were on this course about 3 weeks ago, we did see some attacks here on the Sands course. And that was great to see. And really starting to stretch that group out in times, and certainly I know when we go for a bit of a ride here on the Sunshine Coast, we like to stretch each other out. It's like when we have the camp here as well, we'll stretch it out on the flats and really run them into the ground sometimes.
Always interesting though, the spaghetti only stretches one way when I ride with you, Tim, so I'm usually got the old tongue hanging out. So it's definitely coming into the beautiful season to get out really early now. Sun's up at 4:15, as you know quite well. So it's the riding is really picking up outdoors for us at the moment.
And then, of course, we've got our camp building up at the moment for the Sunshine Coast here in Australia in August of next year. And we do have a little highlights pack that we're going to show the folks at home, and check out our lovely local scenery here.
Yeah, Tim, our camp kicks off again in August 2020, and anyone from around the world is obviously welcome to come and attend with us.
100%.
And we are ramping it right into an amazing event called the Noosa Classic on the Sunshine Coast, which we'd love to see as many of these Zwift riders around the world come and join us.
Yes, of course. We there's three full-time coaches in the Coles Sports coaching business, and we're all on deck for the camp. So we do like to keep it pretty tight. In and around sort of 20 people is plenty for us to manage, and we're about 50% of the way there in terms of. So if you want to inquire, just jump on our website and hit us up, or if you're looking for coaching. But that's probably enough about us as they roll through here. Interesting part of the course.
We've been watching author Lawrence Brooks there for quite a period of time, Tim, on the broadcast, and definitely pushing a few numbers. We've just dropped back now to Herbert in the Cannondale team. So 350 watts, 149 beats a minute. This front group is certainly where the winner's going to come from this evening. So as we hit a little bit of the climbs as we start to hit Titans Grove.
Yeah, just tiny. This is the
good
point.
Climbs on this course to really break it apart.
This is the point at which I sat up
Right,
last night.
okay.
So I sent out a sneaky little WhatsApp group message to a few of our stronger riders here at Coles Sports and said, righto guys, this is what we're going to do. If you can get on, and I think there was about 8 people on the WhatsApp message. I got 7 replies. I'm at a Christmas party, sorry, can't make it. And so it was just me and Chris Piper, and Chris and I couldn't quite get organised. I went early, he went late, and Bob's your uncle. It just backfired, so I burned a match for no reason.
Yeah.
So if you are going to coordinate some attacks on of course, Zwift Racing, just get your ducks in a row.
Get your WhatsApp group
it's good
happening.
training.
And
Good training.
always good to use the game time as the time to attack. I'm sure you did that.
You know, it's
But,
never the coach's fault, of course.
never the coach's fault.
No, it was anyway. We had a bit of fun.
I'm sure there'll be more happening over the coming weeks, Tim, as we ramp up our own Zwift racing. It's always good to have a crack on these courses as we go around as well. So
pushing the pace here off the front. We're just with Alex Side here at the moment, just holding sort of mid 400s, heart rate at 178 beats per minute. Of course, we're getting that from that top left little blue box up there. If you are tuning in for the first time, they are getting in this large pack a bit of a draft effect, obviously. So if you are mid or back to the pack, you are just finding it that's just that little bit easier. But Alex Side does like to come to the front, a bit like Tony Goodyear, our athlete here, who's just raced Kona this year. But we're about to turn a leaf on 2019 and head into 2020, and it's really exciting. We've done a lot of goal setting and a lot of planning and strategy and things like that. So it's nice to talk to athletes about the big picture. So that's something that we impressed on our latest podcast as well.
Yeah, if you want to download the podcast, just jump on iTunes, Spotify, or Podomatic and search Cole Sports. It will pop up. There is a stack of content on there, and we're looking forward to a huge 2020 with a few big names coming on to join us, which is pretty exciting as well.
Is Nathan one of those big names?
Well, I wasn't going to throw it out there.
Is he a big name?
He better be now. So
I like he's got a good voice. He's got a great voice.
He's just found out that he's got an hour to spend with us extra next year. So
Nathan can talk for an hour easily.
Underwater. Underwater.
He doesn't struggle on the pipe, so he'll be fine. So we talk a lot of things esports as well. So yeah, look, that is true. So, Sproul there, he did put us a little message there on Facebook. So just some technical issues, but Sproul, the regular, he will be back bigger and stronger than ever last week. But we've also got some really, really big names in there. Good to see Glassenap in there as well, Greg.
Yeah, regular.
Always fighting through the front there. And obviously, as we pointed out earlier, Sciano there, big name in esports racing. Good point there. Got the Be the Warrior race kit.
Johnny P.
Johnny P, yeah, good call, buddy. So we
watching on YouTube.
We designed that with 2XU. It's a custom kit, and we actually opened it up as a real kit that you could buy in real life, and it outstripped our normal road cycling jersey. We had people that didn't even do Zwift racing yet buy it. So if you do complete this race or any Warrior race on the calendar, you jersey unlock the wonderful Koa Sports jersey, which Alex Side and some familiar names. I've seen it on Montopia a lot. And of course, 2XU has this amazing little customizing tool that you can jump in there and do different colours or match your club.
Righto. Let's have a look at it. Let's see what we can do.
Check it out.
We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
Yep, imagination, Greg. So we've been pretty crazy. I get called Spider-Man a fair few times on the course. Have you been? Oh, you've
Over
been
in
called
Bustleton,
many things, probably.
I've had things thrown at me and everything, but definitely Spider-Man comes out, and the odd random human being now over in the course in Bustleton in Western Australia gave me a shout out, the Go Koa call out. So it's starting to get some traction.
Yeah, plenty of Ks getting around. So back to the action. We've probably done a little bit of waffling on here, but back to the action. We've still got that big front pack. Of course, so it's forming nicely, holding together. Generally starts to get some attrition here as we come out of the sands part of this Sands and Sequoia circuit, and we head up not the main Titans Grove climb, but of course those rollers really start to spread that out. So we're starting to stretch out there already. It would be starting to bite a few people that have potentially been going pretty hard for about 12 minutes. So that's what Zwift racing is all about. Of course, we use it. You can do an FTP test without the athlete even knowing.
So good. It's so good. Shout out to a couple of people watching over on the Zwift community live page as well. We've got Carl over there and Leon asking which races we choose to broadcast. So we'll leave that up to the ZCL guys and Nathan to get that broadcast to schedule out. But we'll definitely be having plenty happening in 2020. 20.
All you really need to do, obviously, we have that discussion in typically in that sort of last few days of the month prior. If you just go to coasportsleague.com, there is a broadcast schedule for the upcoming month. You'll basically sit in there. So we certainly try to get to at least one a week. We'd love to do two, but we are coaches as well, so we need to spread our time and be fair. As I say, coaching keeps the lights on, Greg. So, but we're doing our best to bring as much action as possible. And like I said, we'll obviously bring Nathan in at times as well. They're heading up this 3% ramp here. We're with Alex Side again, just starting to sort themselves out. A few power-ups being played there, some feather power-ups. Obviously, they'll pick up a new power-up as they come up along the Titans Grove Com.
Yep.
And whatever that is for them to use in the finish or earlier if they need to. But a perfect power-up, of course, is that aero helmet on this big, flat, long finish.
Oh, yeah, she's a big sprint, this one.
It is a big sprint, but I've found, I've been certainly seeing some earlier attacks. So on that Volcano circuit is one of the, we do the 4-lapper. And typically you just see that last crazy up that double pinch, that sort of 20-second effort. But on this S&S course, it's almost like a minute, 2 minutes at times. You get those early breakaways. So it does depend on how big that front pack is. So with Casados here as well, and Winton, Vivian's in there, Lawrence Brooks, Hansen, Achim, and Holmes in there, I think, Australian flags. So nice to see a couple of Aussies get on there. Of course, it's lining up to Christmas. Maybe they've got the day off. I know there's a few hangovers, I reckon.
Definitely a few hangovers, but traditionally our last working day of the calendar year here in Australia.
Not for us.
Pretty, not for the coaches, no way. But,
it never stops.
So, Tim, you're heading off on a beautiful holiday in the next few days, is that correct?
Down to, I think it's, I'm getting down to Melbourne, and it's 44 degrees there. Today is 44, tomorrow is 20, and my beautiful little 4-year-old daughter was packing her suitcase this morning, put a beanie in.
Just in case.
Just put a beanie in. She goes, is it going to snow? Is it going to snow at Christmas?
Never
So, well, you never know in Melbourne, darling. You never know.
You never know. It could snow anything down there. So
Big Cox off the front.
Yep. Cox is absolutely hammering it off the front at the moment there. And this group is starting to thin out now. This is where I usually get absolutely dropped out the end of the field at this part of the course, Tim. So for any of the guys and girls that are just drifting off the back, now's the time to really put in that 30-second effort to remain with the group as you come across the top.
Yeah, Ciano as well. So we've looked for him. We haven't seen him here. So off the back of the pack. So here's that attrition. We've got Dixon here as well and Clark just being
Alex
spat out the back.
Just coming back onto the group, which is great. And a couple other riders.
Here's that gap. So here's the view from Dixon here. So that's an awkward gap. You're now 5 seconds back to that main front pack. Unlikely to bridge back up to that. So here's that attrition we were talking about.
Yeah, so shout out to Louis De Freitas as well. He's got on there, Tim, some strong BS going on from the commentators. So it's always good to hear.
Well, at least
some good feedback.
He's already got our character.
Absolutely. We don't take ourselves too seriously, Tim. As you say, we take what we do seriously. So it's always
at
good
times
to get some feedback coming through. And our American and Canadian friends are loving the Aussie accent, and we sort of just take it for granted and just talk away. But clearly, we're making an impression somehow.
Somehow. So nice front pack here again, of course. So just to go through some names, we've got Campbell and Allen in there. Corrigan, we know Corrigan well. Winton, again, those familiar names. Big Cox is in there. Alex Side, VH. I think
VH has been in before.
VH.
VH has definitely been in
slipped
before.
my name. The actual, obviously, he's got the abbreviation there. So apologies there. And Cause and Casados in there and Cohen. Martin, the big name. Here we are with Martin here off the front. We know those colours, Greg, on the Tron bike. We know Martin's strong in the finish. Times his runs perfectly. Going to have his work cut out tonight for sure. There are some big names in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So this will all remain together now. We do have not another little one. We've got a really solid climb coming through as well. So as these guys and girls roll around, we will see them. I'm expecting some attacks and really thin this group out, and then I'm going to throw it out. I'm good at throwing it out there, Tim, and getting things wrong. So tonight, I'm going to get it right, and we're going to see a long attack. We're going to have a couple of riders ride up to him and a 3-way finish.
We've seen their reality setting in for the BS. Now, BS may mean something else. Maybe we've taken BS as
maybe it's the Bs without the apostrophe. It could be the B grade group.
For the Bs. That is No. Oh, there it is. So that is actually pretty
We got
damn
there in the
funny.
end, so thanks, Louis. It's always good to get
That's
to.
priceless. That's
No
priceless.
disrespect. There's absolutely no disrespect,
No.
mate. We can. You can. Look, Tim's been called
I've
all
been
sorts of
called-
things.
I've been called much worse.
Much worse. So, and definitely on race courses all around the world. Yes, so we're not taking any offence, but it was quite funny to go down that little tangent. So see these guys and girls now as they come up the 4%er, things start to kick up a bit, and this front group really starting to thin out
Up the
now.
com
Some
now.
huge heart rates coming through.
Yeah, big one. This is where it starts. I'm surprised how big this front group is. Obviously, clearly some really strong riders. No one really breaking away. Sometimes we do see side drop it down, but just given the quality of this front pack tonight, clearly that's going to be really difficult to do. Just holding high 300s, these guys can easily push 500-600 watts for a minute. I'm just putting it out there. And Carilli in there as well, and Kelly. But certainly they're capable, but they are playing into the hands tonight of a big sprint finish. There's that splintering, a good view there from our production team. Obviously, Nathan, very well done. Nathan, of course, got 2 hands free for these broadcasts, which he's very happy to do because usually he's having to multitask, which is very, very difficult. So we're getting some good action there, getting a bit more social media interaction.
Yeah, here's our man Ciano, Tim, just rolling through to the front now. So starting to really establish himself at the front of the group. He hasn't put his nose in the wind yet, so we'll see Ciano come through in the finish. I have no doubt about it.
Turner in there as well, and Winton. Here's that splintering there, so we've just got a little break in the pack. They've got to work here. It's that awkward distance. Rider there up out of the saddle. A lot of Tron bikes. Got the big fluoro wheels, just enough to kick back on. It does flatten off here, back to 2%. We've been sort of doing 4 to 6%. Here's that 1%, so a nice thin up. And then it's back up again. It really kicks back up over that 4%. It bites hard again.
Yeah, and then the last bit of action, Tim, in this race as well, really starts to hurt as they roll through those rollers.
Alex Side, some big orange lights there. Has
Here he
Alex
goes.
doing
Here's
that
an
attack.
attack.
Here he
This is an
comes,
attack.
Alex Side off the front. We do like to see this on the Titans Grove Com. Thank you, Alex, for giving us some entertainment as well as they come up here. Good to see some positive attacks. Alex Side here pushing 9 watts per kilo, 570 watts. That's absolutely dropping the hammer. Can he maintain it over the top? But Alex Side has done this in the past with some great success. So maybe caught them napping then. I wouldn't like to give Alex too much. Glassenap responds.
Yeah,
Cohen.
Casados coming across the gap too, Tim, right up to his wheel. He's used his feather power up as he came up the climb. Perfect
stuff,
use
Alex.
of the feather as he rides up to Alex's wheel, who's still pushing 6.5 watts a kilo.
2 riders.
We can see the Cannondale rider now coming through at 8 watts a kilo to bring this all back together.
Casados there back on his wheel, back to 2 seconds, 4 seconds again, so sort of 3 little packs here. Alex Side maintaining the hammer over across at the top of the Titans Grove as they finish. Here comes that big pack back to Alex, which unfortunately for Alex's sake, he's burned a big match there, but good on him for having a crack. That's what we're all about. It's not all about the WNLs, mate. It's sometimes just about having a go, which is what I do all the time, and losing.
Yeah, and he comes, and Herbert now just rides straight over the top and pushes it through as they come down that little 4% gradient
position.
downhill. And we've got 1 to about 8 riders there left now, Tim.
Nice.
As
That
group
attack from Alex
obviously has really broken that field apart.
Yeah, that's going to hurt. So enough riders here to potentially stay away, Greg. So that 6-second gap, you've got Cause there in sort of no man's land there. 2 seconds back. Good aerial view there. Cause will bridge up. Back to 4 seconds. That gap now, that front pack, what have we got? About 10, 11 riders in that front pack. Enough to start to work together and push away from that second group there. 8 seconds, 9 seconds back. Looks like the damage is done.
Yeah, great work by the athlete there, Cause, I think it was, Tim, to get back into that group.
He's come
and
through.
Just ridden straight off the front.
Yeah.
And let's have a quicker look at some of his data. So still only 149 beats a minute, so not too much going on there. But and here we go, Alex Side again
Pushes it
having
again.
an attack at 190 beats a minute, pushing 4.5 watts a kilo. We've got Martin in there, 5-6 watts a kilo to try and bridge back as well. So here are these rollers, Tim, that I spoke about come down through Titans Grove and before the bottom of the hill again. Some of these really take the sting out of your legs, especially if you've been on that red limit. Well, I shouldn't say on the limit. You've been riding over threshold now for 22 minutes. So some of these rollers will really start to bite some of these athletes.
Yeah, you'll see there now, they're just sort of real spiky numbers. So you'll see orange lights sort of flash up and down. You can see there on that right-hand side. That's not typically a tax. It can be misleading if you're in this race at this point. You can be a bit sort of panicky and a bit jumpy, but it's just the nature of the rolling terrain. It's just genuinely, sometimes you have to spike it to sort of 9 watts per kilo.
It's a great course, Tim, because it really tests out your 5 to 10 second power as well. So if you're that sort of rider that needs to work on that, you need to keep training hard to get back in.
Should we bring some Aussie bias into this? We do have Ciano in there, of course, an Aussie. And the Aussie flag there, just punching it down against the Canadians and the Americans. Of course, we love our friends, but let's just, a little bit of bias in there. We'll Ciano.
We've got 2 in the front group, actually. 2 Aussies in this race. We've got Alan
Not
in
a
there
Kiwi,
as well.
is it?
We don't talk about them. Jeez, we dusted them up in the cricket last week. Looking forward to the Boxing Day Test match as well.
Cricket, for those people over in the States.
It's not cricket. It's not cricket.
It's it's a bit like baseball, but better.
And goes for 5 days.
5 days.
And you drink a lot of beer. That's pretty much cricket.
Well, you don't actually watch the cricket.
No, you watch the hooligans in the crowd.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's right.
Even a lot of the grounds now around Australia, Tim, are putting in pools for summer. I wouldn't like to visit the pool at about 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
It's probably a good point. So plenty of comments here flowing through on Facebook, of course, YouTube and Twitch as well. So multiple channels here, and it's good to see some of our COA sports athletes there watching as well. Mark Lee, Sarah Goodyear, some other names in there just tuning in. Of course, some great athletes that we have, and we are lucky to coach.
Always good to see, Tim. A really good mate of mine when I was a kid there.
Johnny
I can
P.
see on ZCL, Alexander Scriven dialing in all the way from Sydney. Didn't know he was a rider or a cyclist, but maybe he'll be in joining us soon in the Coal Sports League.
So some of these names here in this front group we can see now. So we've got Martin in there and Glassenap. We've got, then there's that break back to Cox and Cohen. So we'll stay with Casados here. Cause, Alex Side with that big attack coming over that finishing portion of Titans Grove. Really applied the hammer. He shaped the race. So that attack, he may not win. Let's back him and let's say hope that he does. But certainly he has definitely shaped this race. And that can be good in itself, just to actually dictate terms and not play into the hands of potentially the big sprinters. So he has put some sting through the legs. Whether it's enough or not, time will tell.
Time will tell. Not too long to go, Tim. About 3.2 kilometres in this course left for these athletes as they roll back down. And our good friend there, Ciano, just sitting on the back. He's just cruising through there, 174 beats a minute. Commonly known as the Zwift Kid on the Zwift Community Live page as well. So an amazing athlete, and we expect him to figure really well in the finish of this one.
Not long to go, Greg. Probably we're inside, 4 odd minutes until the finish. So strap yourselves in. It will be a mighty, mighty big finish.
Yeah, this finish line sort of pops up on us as well. So we just have to watch that as we come through.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's a weird finish. It's not the big finish,
but
it just finishes
just
under
rock.
like a clubby finish.
Under rock.
A little like a clubby finish. It's just a little post.
No fanfare.
Just a little post on the side of the ground. We're going to finish the race here.
Yeah, it's just like Tim when he finishes a race. He doesn't like any fanfare or anything. He claims wins when he doesn't get them sometimes in the local media in certain countries. But
I'm massive in Sri Lanka.
He's big news in Sri Lanka.
Big news in Sri Lanka. Goodness gracious me, I had to get out of there pretty quickly.
And a shout out to Dan Rose. Apanic. Looks like there's only one B grade rider in the front group there, and that looks like Cause, who had a little dip off the front earlier. So shout out to Cause as well. Fantastic effort. The only B grade rider represented. Here we go, Tim.
Alex Side again off the front here, is applying that hammer. Good move by Alex Side, just not waiting until that last 1 minute to his sprint. Let's put some sting through the legs. Look at the response there. They're all going to bridge back up, but good move by Alex Side again, taking a leaf out of potentially one of the playbooks.
Yeah, you can see the group behind Tim aren't too far back there. So 9 seconds back to Turner, Kelly, and a good group of riders I've just seen coming through there as well. So this race is certainly not over. We've got about 1.5 kilometres to go, and this second group is at 10 seconds. So if these guys sit up and look at each other, which has happened before in our races, Tim, on the Volcano circuit,
yeah, it's a good point.
This second group will roll right up to them.
Yeah, it's a really, really good point. You can actually see them there back. So if we just come up a fraction, you can see that second group as they round that corner. We're up here in the helicopter. You can just get that helicopter noise out of the ear there. And yeah, of course, they round this bend. So coming towards the finish now, here's this big front pack as they wind their way through Avani. There's Zwift kids in there. Alex Side, of course, made that big attack, popping him off the front. There's that second group back there. I think that's probably a little bit too big a gap. But as you say, they do sort of sit up and look at each other here and wait for the attack. So sometimes, here we go, 200 watts, 176 watts. That's pretty slow. Can they bridge that back? Mind you, the bickies that they're going to have to burn to bridge back to that front pack is probably going to do damage, but it'll be a big finish.
Well, there's one thing, Tim, we know in a lot of triathlon racing, you can bridge across to the front group, but you've got to get past them. So that's the difficult part, even if they get there. So we just drop back now, that second group, back to 14th position. We've got Corrigan, Crowell,
good view there,
and Allen in that group as well. So we might jump back to the front group here. We've got about 800 metres to go, and I think they're going to hold off the second pack this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go with that front group. We've got Endo in there as well, and Cause. Herbert in there, Evany. Look for Ciano with a well-timed attack. Corrigan in there as well. So we're winding our way through here on the Sands circuit. And, yeah, here we are with Endo.
Yeah, so Endo now rolling in that front group. So we're just going to jump back across there and call these guys home as they come through. So only about 400 metres to go. At any minute now, someone's going to drop some huge numbers out of this group. And we've got Martin's side. We've got Ciano in there, who's Tim's pick for this evening. We've got Cohen, and we are with Martin at the moment, just watching him, and Endo. And we've got Ivany just off the front as well.
Okay, Evany here. Wait for the big attack, Greg. It sort of settles down. You can see that second group back down there. They've got that carrot up the road. Will they bridge back to that front patch?
4 seconds now, Tim. 4 seconds.
I think they're going to make it on. I think they might make it on unless they start to attack now, which typically around this bend we start to see. Alex Side in there, Ciano, Ivany. Who's going to drop first? Who is going to attack first tonight here on the SNS circuit? They can now see it up in the field. Wait for the big numbers, big orange lights. Glassenap goes first. You can see the orange lights. We're with Cause. We've got some draft buses being played. Big power rights being played. Here comes Martin through the field. 1 watts per kilo. Has Martin gotten too early? He's got the huge attack off the front. He's got a nice gap here of 1 second. He's going to come under the finish line. Glassenap's right up him, and Alex Side there and as well. Looks like Martin's going to take the chocolates again here on the Warrior Race, and Martin takes the win here tonight. What a win,
and Glassenup second and Side third. Yet again, another podium for Side, and a huge one there this evening. So let's just check out the replay, Tim. That's a huge attack from Martin. 14 watts a kilo as he comes off the front. If you don't mind,
umpire.
And Glassenup there, 16 watts a kilo as Glassenup tries a bridge back across. Plenty of good power-ups were received by that front group. We saw Ciano in there, not too far off the front. We've got Casados, but check that out as he goes. 17 watts a kilo, Tim, as he crossed that finish line.
He's a hard man to catch on the
flat. If
you were
in Martin's pain cave at the moment, I just saw their 4th place there was very tight as well. What a race.
Good race tonight. So we, of course, will be back in 2020. Everyone have a great holiday. Be safe out on the road. Of course, the open road is wonderful this time of year here in Australia. Maybe not so much over in the Americas, but pick your moments. Enjoy your Zwift racing. Thanks for your support. And Nathan, thanks very much, mate.
And train hard.
Throw back to you.
Appreciate the Koa Warrior Race and the commentary coming in all the way from the lands down under, and always great to have Tim and Greg on. The Warrior Race, absolutely awesome. Quick one lap out on Sand and Sequoias today. We're going to go through the results here real quickly. We're going to get them up on zwiftpower.com just so everybody knows what just went down here on the race. But great attack there in the last moments there by William Martin. 29:24 was the final finishing time. 1 second up, actually, with that kick. So he timed it perfectly there with an aero power-up. It looked like that was really what made things happen. And Nick Glassenap for the Dads Inside Riding Trainers team, the dirt team. Always good to see them out there with the kids in saddle as well. Alex Sides in there, coming out of Canada. Talked about him a lot. Very aggressive rider, actually, today, it looked like. R.C. Evany, followed up by Aaron Casados. It will be Frank Kors for 6. The Zwift kid, a little bit off the back there. Interesting to see. Maybe the Warrior Race is bringing in some top talent, perhaps, because that is one to be looking out to beat a lot of times. So Anthony Ciano with the 7th place. Maybe just caught out, but maybe the Warrior Race is showing up with top talent. Kenta Endo here, Team Finns, as well as Greg Cohen, and then Olivia Herbert, Cannondale Echelon 4i showing up today, too. most aggressive rider maybe with 4.8 watts per kilogram on average. But that's going to be it for us here at Zwift Community Live. I want to say thanks to everybody for tuning in. Make sure to go check out Koa Sports, new partnership that we're forming for our broadcast. They're really ramping up the productions down there. It's great to see people coming on board to support the community. Make sure also to check out their podcast. It's one of the larger podcasts, I'm told, in the let's see, Australia's top ranking sports and recreation podcast, actually. So Spotify and iTunes. Make sure Core Sports Podcast, it's available over there. So thanks everybody for tuning in again. Check them out, and we will see you next week for DBR Hino Cup will be the next broadcast, I believe, on Wednesday. May have a surprise cast on Tuesdays, but other than that, thanks everybody for tuning in. And as always, ride on.